Florida State
Still out there.
is unfathomably bad. What is the biggest victory? Because Belichick's now going to hire all his friends and put them on television analyzing games, and none of them are any good. It's Charlie Weiss and Matt Patricia. He's just going to create a giant economy around just stinky coaches who can't work anywhere.
He'll be working in 3 weeks, and it will just be Romeo Crennel.
That's right. He's going to get a bunch of jobs, and Steve Belichick is all of a sudden going to be hosting 3 shows on the NFL Network.
I mean, give Bill O'Brien some credit. That was I think Florida State, it's not like they gave up after the Georgia Tech game. Like, I think they really thought they were going to just stomp Boston College and move on with their season, but now they opened the season with 2 ACC losses before week 2 has even begun. And it's like, first of all, I think it's odd that they're playing 2 conference teams that early in the season. It's weird.
Bad job by the AD.
It's like kind of like how do you move on from this, right? Because their offense looked so bad, but their defense was supposed to be, I mean, like, Mike, how many podcasts did you listen to this offseason that said Florida State's D-line was the best in the country and had all these NFL prospects and no one was going to be able to run on them?
Saban co-signed on that notion.
And then you watch Boston College, their quarterback is legitimately very fun to watch. He was very fun to watch last year. His name is Castellanos, which I think always has people like, all right, something weird's going to happen. There's a Castellanos with a deep drive. What's going on right now? But, I mean, credit to Bill O'Brien. Came into, Seminole territory and won the game. And first game at Boston College. It's crazy.
I will say that while it didn't look like FSU quit before that game, it certainly looked like there was some quit late in that game.
I would say second quarter.
Yeah, that was a really disappointing performance from FSU. And Mike Norvell, who was so calm on the sidelines before, wearing it. Dude is wearing it. Was wearing it after the second 3 and out.
It's a lot of
You
pressure,
could see the
man.
pressure he is under. This is a dude that was reported said no to Alabama over the offseason. And now that house of cards may be coming
It happens that
crashing
quickly.
to the ground.
It stinks, but like you can't give up. Like, you still have to. It's so hard to get players to buy into a program, especially after what happened to them at the end of last season, missing the playoff and being a team that can go 13-0. I know it's different now with the 12-team playoff, but it's just such a terrible look for the entire conference that they were left out of the playoff. And so you can't just give up on the season and not make a bowl game. Like, you have to at least try to salvage what you can from it.
Jessica, that's not a lack of effort. They stink, okay? Like last week, I declared their season was over last week when they lost to Georgia Tech that way. Their quarterback is not good enough, and their season is over.
Yeah.
And well, we can talk about the weakness of the conference, but when you're telling me that team quit against Boston College, what I remember, this is how it's happened this season in 2 games. First drive of the season for FSU, Stugotz and a whole lot of people declare them the best team in the country because they go down the field on Georgia Tech in 7 plays. And all they've done since then is lose with a quarterback who dinks and dunks. Their offense isn't nearly good enough.
It's not, and this is what happens when you're all in on the portal. And I would say that there were other things going on when it was good to be FSU that were worthy of taking inventory of, whether it be players publicly complaining about the money that they're getting, threatening to hold out of bowl games if they don't get their money right. There are guys that were pretty high priced that made a big public stink about what they were getting, what they weren't getting, that were part of that group in that second quarter that were quitting. And this is why, even though it felt good to be FSU when you had Jordan Travis under center, this is why you have to stack those transfer portal classes with talent underneath, because you're at the mercy of what's in the portal, and you're at the mercy of other programs also figuring out the portal. They tried to get guys like Cam Ward. They were unsuccessful. So they decided we're going to get all these guys that aren't getting playing time at these big programs, because if they're playing at big programs, that'll get our fan base excited. Well, you were at the mercy of the portal. Portal wasn't good enough, and now you got nothing behind these guys. You're asking for backups that you don't have.
Yeah, I am curious, like, if there was a point in the game in which it was like, you have to pull DJ. Like, there were a lot of drop balls. There was, like, he didn't have a lot of time. It was bad protection all around. But you have to wonder, like, how unconfident they are in the backup quarterback situation to not make any sort of change in that game, because, like, the crowd is chanting, "We want Brock, the backup quarterback," in what, second quarter, third quarter? Like, yeah. That's just stinks. And to take your fan base from, like, being on top of the world last year, going undefeated and winning the conference championship, to this, like, that coaching staff just needs to do better.
And Dan, you can put the town on alert. I don't think they beat Memphis.
Wow.
Really?
The whole town?
Put the town on alert.
Yeah, I think Memphis makes a college football playoff. So.
Wow. Here's what's interesting to me about this college football season. You have teams getting quarterbacks they wouldn't normally get because of the transfer portal. So Michigan was stacked at quarterback. Cade McNamara left. He's now at Iowa. Iowa puts up 40 points. Iowa might be good. If they could score 25 points a game, they might be a team that could sneak into the playoffs. Same thing happening at Syracuse with Kyle McCord. Yeah. That guy was a quarterback at Ohio State. Syracuse never gets that quarterback. He threw 4 touchdowns this weekend.
McCord actually impressed me a little bit with his toughness. He was dealing with injuries, especially in that Michigan game that people didn't really realize. But that was a very disrespectful line for Iowa. Come on, some of these people are gone. A 20-point favorite over a 6-win Illinois State team? Come on.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is unconfident a word at Batard Show? And also, can you tell the difference between a team that is quitting and a team that's not very good? Because I can't. I don't have that ability. Maybe teams quit, but I haven't seen anything from FSU except in the first drive this season that suggests to me anything other than that team's not very good.
Got about 16 recent years of experience being able to spot it happening right in front of me. Mm-hmm. And so, there's bad body language, bad posture when you get to the line, everyone looking for leadership there, a lackadaisical approach. And also look at the red flags that pop up over the course of what people are talking about before the season. This had a recipe for a disastrous season for FSU, and it's playing out worse than maybe even the people that were most sour on their chances had it.
But I just noticed today FSU's championship odds in 2 games have gone from 66-1 to 500-1. And what that tells me is nobody expects a turnaround. Nobody thinks this is an anomaly. FSU's just bad.
Let me explain something, as Jessica says, that Bill O'Brien deserves some credit for this.
Still can't believe that.
Bill O'Brien and Boston College going into Tallahassee and winning 28-13, the home team's not any good. It's not. Boston College may indeed surprise you, may be better than you thought they were. FSU scoring 13 points at home, and Boston College's defense also for the last couple of years is a defense that every once in a while will surprise you and slowed FSU last year when they were a lot better than this. But losing at home and scoring only 13 points at home, it's a damning indictment.
I know talent composite isn't everything, but FSU's is top 15 in the country this season on 247. So I don't think you can say that they're not talented. I really think that when it comes down to things like this, it's the coaching staff not putting players in a position to be successful. And so I try not to blame individuals for a performance or put it all on the players, even though individuals can have bad performances. That's very common in sports, especially in college football. But when you have a team that going into the season is extremely talented by most metrics and has a number of players that are either projected to play in the NFL or top of their class in college football, and then they lose their first 2 games of the season to teams that they're favored against, I think that's 100% on the coaching staff.
Here's what took me the most by surprise last night, because I thought Boston College could win that game. It was how poorly Boston College played in blowing FSU out, because they were disastrous on special teams. Castellanos was missing open receivers that were streaking wide open.
Wheel route in
Dropped
the first
wheel
quarter.
routes, was often taking the closest wide open option, just completely foregoing touchdown passes deeper down the field. They didn't even have to play well. Lou Riddick pointed out there's no deep safety right now. They do not respect this, and it's the same exact thing that we saw last week. Georgia Tech grew into that game. I don't expect Boston College's defense was the only good unit for Boston College, really, yesterday. The only really impressive unit. Georgia Tech doesn't have this incredible defense either. Throughout the game, those opposing defenses grow into it and get more aggressive because they realize Uiagalelei has no interest in throwing the ball downfield. And if he does, it's to keep another defense honest, and it's going to be inaccurate.